Nice crowd. Welcome, take it off for a minute. Welcome Rabbi Epstein, Rabbi Offner, Rabbi Emeritus Sloan, student cantor Gabriel Lehrman, Rebecca and Barak's families, invited guests. We have local clergy here, community leaders, past and present congregants, and friends. I'm incredibly honored and proud to be standing here today as president of West End Temple to welcome you to the installation of Rabbi Rebecca Epstein as our new permanent solo rabbi. This is a sacred and momentous occasion, not only in the life of West End Temple, but for our entire community. West End Temple is 83 years old and has had only 2 permanent rabbis in all of those years. Rabbi Epstein, you stand on the shoulders of those 2 great rabbis. Rabbi Joseph Weiss, whom many of us remember with love, served our temple for 55 years and became a significant part of our families and lives. He married many of us, bar mitzvahed our children, named our grandchildren, and treated us as part of his own family. He and his father before him were pillars of the Reform Jewish movement. Rabbi Emerita Marjorie Sloan, who was with us for almost 16 years, changed our lives in so many ways. She introduced the notion of having a cantor instead of a choir, was instrumental in hiring student cantors to enhance our Friday night and high holiday services, worked with our children to give them meaningful Jewish experiences, and made the holidays come alive for the children by providing them with special children's services that drew great crowds of people from the community. Most importantly, when Hurricane Sandy hit the Rockaway Peninsula and destroyed the temple building, she saved the Torahs by taking them home and worked tirelessly along with Ken to get our temple building built back and functioning. It is because of her tireless efforts that we are in this beautiful sanctuary today. When Rabbi Sloan announced her retirement 2 years ago, we formed a search committee to look for someone with her passion and commitment to moving the temple forward. It took us almost 2 years through a pandemic to find Rabbi Epstein. Ironically, she comes to us from the same temple in Brooklyn as Rabbi Sloan, Congregation Beth Elohim. Over the last 9 months, we have gotten to know her and her wonderful family. I think we already sense the kind of person Rebecca is. We have chosen as our rabbi a person who is smart, learned, hardworking, a lover of the Jewish people, someone who has committed her life to West End Temple's future. In the last few months, Rabbi Epstein, with her family, has become beloved by our congregation. Her formal installation today is an opportunity to celebrate and honor her, and for all the Rockaway area to formally recognize her as the leader of the Reformed Jewish community. May Rabbi Epstein help West End Temple continue to be a home for celebration and exploration of Jewish learning, spirituality, and community. Let us move together from strength to strength. We look forward to continuing the journey with Rabbi Epstein that we have begun together.
Thank you, Sherry. What an honor to be here with everyone tonight and to celebrate Shabbat. And we're going to officially welcome Shabbat with the lighting of the Shabbat candles, which Sherry is going to do right now. And then we'll join together in the blessing on page 2.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kirshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner
As we open our eyes, we can look around at one another and see that the Shabbat has entered into all of our souls. And to really be able to greet one another now as we look around, I'd like to invite everyone for what we've been calling the purposeful schmooze. The purposeful schmooze, which is where we get a chance to really turn to our neighbor and just introduce ourselves to one another and say, how was your week? How did everything go for you this week? What was a highlight? What was something not so great maybe? And just take a moment to introduce yourself to your neighbor, especially someone you don't know.
Are you going to get their attention? Right now? Okay. Great. Okay. Let's start it and give like $4 more.
Rich, we're starting.
Everyone, we're going to continue with the singing of Lecha Dodi on page 20. Great job schmoozing. Page 20, let's welcome the Sabbath bride.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala
B'nei Shabbat
nekavela Lecha Dodi likrat kala
B'nei Shabbat
nekavela Shamor v'zachor belimur echad Yishmianu el hamiuchad Adonai echad u'shmo echad Leshem tiferet v'nitila Lecha Dodi likrat kala
B'nei Shabbat
nekavela Lecha Dodi likrat kala
B'nei Shabbat
nekavela Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha Ki mekor ha'beracha Merosh mikedem mesucha Sof ma'aseh v'machshavat tila Lecha Dodi likrat kala
Sabbath bride.
בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי,
Wow, nothing makes me happier than a room full of people welcoming the Shabbat bride all together. So beautiful. We remain standing as we turn to page 28 for the call to worship, the Baruch Hu. Be seated, everyone. We're going to continue now with Shema on page 34. And for the Shema and the V'ahavta, I would like to invite up all of our kids to come and help lead Shema and V'ahavta. So come on up, everyone. All right.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך, בביתך ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
That was so wonderful. Thank you so much for leading our congregation in prayer. That was beautiful. And now, if you would like to partake of our babysitting services, Sophia is in the back. Sophia, will you raise your hand? So if you would like to, you can go with Sophia into the Sylvain room and enjoy some pizza and some babysitting. But think, and only if you're the age of babysitting, okay? So you can decide that, though. Okay. Thank you. And you can go ahead back down. Beautiful. We continue with Micha Mocha on page 40. You have to decide. Rise now for our standing prayer, the Amidah, on page 46. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise.
Yeridaya, 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 Yeridaya,
Page 48.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, mechaye hakol atah rav lehoshia. Mashiv haruach umorid hagashem, mechalkel chaim bechesed. מחיה הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לישני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה הכל.
We continue standing with our silent prayer. You can use the words on the pages or the words in your own heart through to page 62, after which you may be seated.
R'tzei Adonai Eloheinu be'amecha Yisrael u'tefilatam be'ava tekabel u'tehilei tamid avodat Yisrael. Israel, Adonai, Eloheinu, Be'amecha Yisrael, u'tefilatam be'ava tekabel, u'tehilei ratzon, tamid avodat Yisrael, Adonai, Eloheinu, Be'amecha Yisrael, u'tefilatam be'ava tekabel, u'tehilei ratzon, tamid avodat Yisrael, קרוב לכל קורב פני עבדיך וחננו שפוך רוחך עלינו ותחזינה עינינו בשובך לציון ברחמים ברוך אתה אדוני המחזיר שכינתו לציון לציון.
Distinguished guests and members of West End Temple, we are here to celebrate the installation of our new rabbi, Rebecca Epstein. Upon the announcement of Rabbi Slom's decision to retire, our president, Sherry Copeland, brought together a diverse group of congregants tasked with finding a new rabbi for West End Temple. Challenged by the aftermath of Hurricane Sandy and a changing demographic in the Rockaways, we needed someone to bring us together, to help us to grow, and to lead us into the future. Our committee, consisting of Sherry Copeland, Alyssa Burke, Robin Levy, Richard Lipsman, Doris DeNaro, Rosemary Schluger, Pam Letterman, met for countless hours and conducted many interviews, yet we had not found our rabbi. Through a confluence of events involving Suzanne Maltz and Paul Aronofsky and Alan Herman, Rabbi Epstein found out about our search and applied for the position. Following meetings and discussions, Rabbi Epstein was unanimously offered and accepted the position. We had found our rabbi. The Pirkei Avot, an important part of the Mishnah, which explicates and clarifies the meaning of Torah, states, "Set up a friend for yourself and get yourself a companion, and give everybody the benefit of the doubt." Pirkei Avot teaches us that a rabbi should function to help us become a better version of ourselves, who will travel with us in a journey toward helping us to live a more vibrant and fulfilling life. The relationship of a congregant and a rabbi is a unique and sacred one. It is a relationship where understanding is a process through faith, education, discussion, clarification, and communication. It is a relationship of trust, where each gives the other the benefit of the doubt to reach greater understanding. During the past year, Rabbi Epstein has shared her faith, her joy, her love of Torah, demonstrated unfailing concern for our members, both young and old, new and long-standing, introduced us to her wonderful young family who have become a part of our family, and begun to lead our temple into an exciting and meaningful new direction. It is my pleasure to be a part of this special moment in the history of West End Temple. It is my wish that Rabbi Epstein can find a home with us that will extend for many years to come. I am now honored to invite Rabbi Stacy Offner, Rabbi Epstein's childhood rabbi, to share some remarks in honor of her installation. Thank you.
Those are such beautiful words. Your words and the music and the prayer, I think I have to begin by saying, Moda ani lifnechem. I'm thankful to each and every one of you for this moment. I was thinking, Nancy and I have come here from Minnesota, as has your rabbi, and we've all journeyed through thick and through thin, through COVID in particular, most recently, and to be in the sanctuary, for us, this is a first time in a long time. And I think of the words in Genesis, Lo tov heyot adam levado. It's not good for a person to be alone. And we've been alone. And now we're together. And I'm very grateful to you for the opportunity to be together this evening in so many ways. So I have a task this evening. And my task this evening is easy. If my task is to convince you that you have a great rabbi, enough said. I think you're already on my side. So let me just begin by saying, Ashreinu, Matov Chalkenu, because those Hebrew words appear in the Siddur, and they're usually translated as how fortunate we are, how good is our portion. But the translation that I find myself wanting to use this evening when we gather here for the installation of your new rabbi is simply 4 words. How lucky are you? Ashreinu. How lucky are you? And the truth is, you are rich in rabbi luck. Of course, it's not just luck, because a rabbi isn't a rabbi without a congregation. And so there has to be something about West End Temple that draws good rabbis and nurtures good relationships. But I keep thinking, how lucky are you? And for starters, I know that you were blessed by the leadership of Rabbi Joseph Weiss for over 50 years. The president of your temple grew up under his tutelage. What kind of continuity do you get to enjoy? And what a wonderful Rabbi Emerita you have in Rabbi Margie Sloan. Rabbi Sloan and I went to rabbinical school together back in the 1980s. And she has had a remarkable career. And nationally, I want you to know nationally, she had a voice. And we are all so well aware of how she shepherded you through the devastation of Hurricane Sandy with grit and with grace and with her killer sense of humor. It's wonderful to be with her again this evening, so I thank you for making that reunion possible. And now, Rabbi Rebecca Epstein. Members of West End Temple, you don't even know how lucky you are. I have known Rebecca almost her entire life and almost my entire career. It's wonderful to see her father, Richard, here. My goodness, Richard and Nancy have known each other since they were children. So I also want to acknowledge Rebecca's mother, Fran, who's not here tonight in person, but is here in spirit and bursting with pride, as she always is, at her daughter. I can recall so many important moments in the Cottle family. Rebecca's bat mitzvah, Mazel Tov Noah, family funerals, consecrations, and confirmations. And probably most joyous of all was standing under the chuppah and having the privilege of officiating at Rebecca and Barak's wedding. And seeing Barak and his parents here tonight brings back the great joy of that wedding. And now the children, Kenahara, Noah, Mazel Tov on that bat mitzvah of yours, and Avia and Sonia. Indeed, Ashreinu, how fortunate, how good, and how wonderful. So let me tell you a little bit about how lucky you are, and tell you a little bit about the rabbi you have hired to lead you into the future. In reflecting upon the child that I knew and the adult that she has become and the rabbi she now is, I see consistent themes, qualities that were hers long ago that are still there, just deeper and richer. I first met Rebecca back in the 1980s. She was a child in our religious school, one of over 100 children in the school, and she stood out then as she does now. She stood out for her unique combination of quiet and thoughtfulness. When Rebecca spoke, it was because she had something to say. And one of the things that she wanted to say back when she was a child, I don't remember, maybe, well, she was in grade school, was that her family, she wanted her family to join a new temple that we were just forming. Maybe it was because it was small. Maybe it was because it was intimate, because it wasn't laden with trappings. Maybe it was because it aspired to be a house of justice, a house of song, a house of prayer. Maybe it was all of those things. And I note that your rabbi, who was that child, continues to be drawn to the same things. She embraces the intimacy of West End Temple, the values that West End Temple stands for, the music, the prayer, the children, the aged, and you, West End Temple, so clearly embrace her. Oh, how wisely you have chosen. What a reflection upon you, that you have sought out a leader who is strong but gentle, who is wise but humble, who can just as powerfully touch the depth of your soul when leading a Shabbat service as when chanting a verse of Torah or sitting on the floor with your children. One of Rabbi Epstein's greatest gifts is her ability to create and build community, to include rather than exclude, to be generous rather than protective, to bring people together rather than to separate. She does so with love and grace, so everyone feels included and everyone feels cared for and everyone feels respected. Rebecca is a kind and skilled listener. Being a great orator is an obvious quality that rabbis strive for, but being a great listener is even more critical. I think that one reason that your rabbi is such a natural at creating true community is that she understands the true nature of power. As Henry Miller once said, the goal is not to hoard power, but to radiate it. Rabbi Epstein radiates power, gently and generously. Rebecca is a wise woman, and it's because, and you will see this for yourselves, she is mature, she is patient, she is fair, and she is a keen observer. You will seek her advice, and what you will get is sage counsel. Remember to ask her what she thinks. When, as a synagogue, you're unclear about direction, ask your rabbi what she thinks. When in the midst of a heated discussion at a board meeting, turn to your rabbi and ask her what she thinks. When you're personally brokenhearted because of life's challenges and burdens, ask your rabbi how to take the next step. She will not impose herself upon you. That's not her style. It is for you to take advantage of her wisdom. You will partner with Rabbi Epstein. You will watch her, you will learn from her, and you will grow into better people because of her. And so tonight we celebrate. We celebrate what we call an installation. So you know, the word installation is really kind of an odd word. It suggests proclamations, and we make jokes such as, today I am a light bulb. But in truth, the light bulb analogy is not so far off, because it takes two parts coming together for the light to work. And so this installation is about two parts coming together. It's about a relationship between a rabbi and a congregation. And all the words one could say about healthy relationships applies right now to the relationship between Rabbi Epstein and West End Temple. For at its heart, it is, and it must be, a relationship about love, about care, about honesty, about sharing. My own childhood rabbi, Rabbi Jacob Philip Rudin of Temple Bethel in Great Neck, New York, gave a lecture once to the student body of my rabbinical school, Hebrew Union College. But the rabbinical students that he addressed, he addressed in 1959. But the sentiment of his words still resonates today. And in fact, I have cherished his wisdom and carried his words with me throughout my rabbinate. And now, Rabbi Epstein, I want to share his words with you, because I believe they're the key to a successful rabbinate. And this is what he said. He said, if you do not love those whom you serve, you will not be successful. If you do not care passionately, you will not convince your hearers that they should. If you preach from outside your subject, you will leave your hearers outside. If you preach from within, you will take your hearers into that same inner place. Love your people. Rabbinical school is a 5-year full-time endeavor leading to ordination. And during those 5 years, your rabbi and all rabbis study full-time for 5 years. We study the Torah, the Talmud, the Mishnah, Pirkei Avot, Jewish history, theology, and liturgy. But at the end of the day, all the knowledge in the world will not make you a great rabbi. They will make you qualified to be a great rabbi, but they will not make you a great rabbi. It is your heart that will make you a great rabbi. It is your soul that will make you a great rabbi. When Rabbi Epstein was 13 years old and celebrating her bat mitzvah, she joined what I called a special club. It's a special club. It's still a special club. And she's still in it. Because that day of her bat mitzvah, she joined the club of the kids who had, by luck of the calendar, been assigned the Torah portion of Tazria Metzora for their bat mitzvah. As luck would have it, we are in the same Torah portion. We are in Parshat Metzora this Shabbat. So maybe we're all in that special club now. But what made it a special club that she was in? Because people were quick to joke that it was the worst portion in the whole Torah. Now that's a joke because there's no such thing as a worst Torah portion. Every Torah portion is the best Torah portion. But why did people joke that it was the worst Torah portion? Well, because it's a portion that focuses on bodily emissions and molds that are a symptom of a disease. And you know, every 13-year-old has just got to love getting that portion for their B'nai Mitzvah. So most 13-year-olds aren't thrilled to focus on those verses, but Rebecca made meaning out of those verses and chanted them with great pride. She's proud of the club that she's in. She focused on mold. It's great to talk about mold. And she focused on the homes that need care and attention. And today, on this day of her installation, I think not just of the homes that needed care, but I think in particular of the priests that brought their care to those homes that were afflicted. And the most critical skill that the priest needed was the skill of observation, because the priest needed to know how to diagnose what was in front of him. So those priests of yesterday have become the rabbis of today, and Rabbi Epstein is uniquely equipped to observe, to diagnose, to care for all of you. Because an installation is not just about the rabbi, but about a relationship, I invite you, the members of West End Temple, to bring your care to your new rabbi. And I would ask you to support her and to nurture her. Being a rabbi is a crazy profession. Please make sure that she takes a day off, and make sure that she has time for Torah study. Don't expect her to be available to you 24/7. Honor the Shabbat and allow her to honor the Shabbat too. Learn from her and listen to her. Respect her and her boundaries. Grow to love her. For it is together, rabbi and congregation, that you will make Judaism flourish. On this day, we're celebrating the launching not of a new career, but a new relationship, a new partnership between rabbi and congregation. It's a day filled with excitement, filled with promise, filled with hope. On this day, we stand before God in joy, and we ask for God's blessings upon Rabbi Rebecca Epstein. And I pray, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai our God, we pray to you that Rabbi Epstein may lead our people with the blessing of your guiding spirit. Grant her a wise heart and truthful speech. Bless the work of her hands and give her the strength to be present with our people in joy and in sorrow. Help her to bring the divine wisdom of your Torah to her community, that together she and her synagogue may flourish. Ken Yehi Ratzon. Amen.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thank you so much, Stacy, my rabbi, for your wise and kind words. I am pinching myself to see you here on this bima at West End Temple and seeing Nancy in the kahal in the congregation. What a special honor that you are here tonight. Rabbi Offner, you have been there with me throughout the years, preparing me for my bat mitzvah, officiating at my wedding to Barak, signing my ordination certificate at my rabbinic ordination, and providing your wisdom and guidance throughout the years on all kinds of matters, and now installing me as the rabbi of this sweet community. Thank you. To return to my bat mitzvah so many years ago, as Rabbi Offner said, my Torah portion was Tazria Mitzorah back in April of 1990. And it so happens we are reading Mitzorah this Shabbat. So Mitzorah, my old and strange friend. Mitzorah continues the discussion started in Tazria, last week's reading, about a disease called tzara'at. Tzara'at was a condition that could cause white scales to appear on the skin. Really cool. It could also afflict clothing and also the walls of houses. And it was not super relatable. When I meet a student who has Tazria Mitzorah or Tazria Mitzorah for their bar bat mitzvah, I always worry a little bit. What is going to happen to this student in the future? What is their relationship to Judaism and Torah going to be after learning about this topic? I try to prevent that possibility from the outset by saying, I had Tazria Mitzorah for my bat mitzvah, and look, I still became a rabbi. So I remember preparing with Rabbi Offner for my bat mitzvah speech, avoiding the most potentially disturbing topics in this part of the Torah. We went right to the topic of tzara'at in houses. Red or green streaks would appear on the walls, and after the affected stones were removed, if the streaks did not return, the priest would then perform a ritual to cleanse the house of tzara'at. The plague of tzara'at was not just physical. It affected the spiritual status of the home, and a temple sacrifice was required to fully restore that status. I honestly don't remember the significance that I drew from it as a bat mitzvah girl at all. However, two things are clear. One, I will always carry with me the memory of how special I felt about the time I got to spend with my rabbi in preparing my speech. And two, I think some things do happen for a reason. We did not intentionally choose this date because of Mitzorah, but nonetheless, Mitzorah comes to teach us something very important on this day in the life of the community. For the ancient Israelites, homes were not just physical places, they were connected to the divine. So too for us. Our homes, ideally, are places of spiritual connection and of spiritual refuge. In Jewish tradition, we call the home mikdash me'at, or a small sanctuary. In Jewish life, this notion of a home as a place of spiritual refuge is seen in so many ways. The ancient priestly ritual of removing the plague of tzara'at from the walls of houses was just one. Another is the mezuzah that we affix in the doorway to signify that the home is a sacred place. Also, many of the rituals of the Jewish home carry forward aspects of rituals that were performed in the ancient temple. The Passover Seder that we are about to celebrate makes reference to the Passover observance in ancient times. So too the Shabbat dinner. The home is not just a physical place, it is a spiritual space. It is a space to celebrate and to mourn, to connect to one another in the present, to connect deeply to the sustaining traditions of the past, and to fortify oneself for the future. This is true for our personal home, but it is also true for our communal Jewish home, our synagogue, which our rabbis also called a mikdash me'at, a small sanctuary. And so perhaps the meaning of Metzora has stuck with me all these years since I first learned it with Rabbi Offner and became part of the special club. Because my vision for synagogue life draws upon that notion of home. This year on Erev Rosh Hashanah, I spoke about my hope that we could all return home to West End Temple this year. I spoke about my vision of building the synagogue community to be like a home, a vision which was born from not just my experience of studying with Rabbi Offner, but also just growing up with Rabbi Offner as my rabbi, a rabbi who always cultivated the sense that the temple was another home. And that experience of my temple as a home was the seed of my dream to be a rabbi and to build here at West End Temple such a home. A home where each of us feels embraced and held and seen. A home where each of us feels a sense of purpose and meaning. A home where each of us feels that we can make a difference. A home where each of us can celebrate and each of us can mourn. Each of us can connect to the sustaining traditions of the past and fortify ourselves for the future. A home which extends its love into the community, lighting a path for those who search in the dark and embracing those who seek its warmth, welcoming all of those, both old and new, who seek its inspiration. Already, I feel that together we have accomplished so much. We celebrated a beautiful high holidays together in this sanctuary. Remember the eucalyptus leaves and the Havdalah candle at the end of Yom Kippur? We have welcomed 12, now 13 new member families. We had Shabbat on the beach and a Hamilton-style Purim complete with a new Megillah, a scroll of Esther. We have navigated COVID protocols and the other business of running a synagogue. You have entrusted me to lay loved ones to their final rest with honor. You have entrusted me to teach the students of this religious school and to prepare and officiate for 5 students who became B'nai Mitzvah and 2 more on the way. I feel proud and privileged to have started this journey with you as your rabbi. I am deeply grateful for each of your presence here tonight. I am grateful for the opportunity to work with our incredible staff, including our preschool director, Randy, all of our teachers, our student cantor, Gabriel, our office staff, Kate, and our custodial staff, Louie and Bob and Maria. Together, all of us, building on the work of Rabbi Weiss and Rabbi Sloan and even Rabbi Ross, We have built a Mikdash Me'at, and I am so blessed to be a part of it, and so blessed for my family's support in being a part of it. We have built a Mikdash Me'at that I know will grow stronger in the years to come. Shabbat Shalom. And now I'd like to invite our Rabbi Emerita, Rabbi Slom, to share some words.
The wrinkles come out now. That's why I love the mask. Good evening. It is, and Shabbat Shalom. I've been on sabbatical from Judaism for a while. It's really nice to see everyone as we celebrate the formal installation of Rabbi Epstein as your rabbi of the West End Temple. I am so very grateful to you, Rabbi Epstein, and to this temple for inviting me to participate in this service. It is a little deja vu to be up on the bima tonight. It's been a couple of years, as I have been avoiding West End Temple like the plague, so to speak, merely to avoid having my name prematurely etched on one of the windows behind me, even as I am probably unworthy. I would like you to remember me, but not on a window just yet. But just to be clear, when I say the word plague, I don't mean the ones that you will be mentioning at your Seder tables this week. The plague I have been avoiding is from a freakish, destructive, awful blip in nature and not God-given. So I've been a little cloistered, stir-crazy, these past couple of years. And as I like to say, our family has decided not to follow the science, but to follow the neuroses. And those graphs are just making Ken and me scary crazy. So tonight, on this Shabbat HaGadol, the great Shabbat, the Shabbat that precedes Passover, when the rabbi gives a long sermon, tonight you got 3, but the rabbi gives a sermon about the rules of Pesach, and mercifully, even as your emerita, I have no plans to speak about the rules of Passover, and I don't think Rabbi Epstein plans to deliver a long sermon, maybe in Torah study tomorrow. Nor will I speak about the Torah portion Metzora, which has been talked about because I didn't know that this was your bat mitzvah portion. And I'm not going to talk about the rules governing skin and house oozing infections. But because that's icky, in my opinion. But boy, I know some B'nai Mitzvah classes here at West End Temple who are so fascinated by that. But rather, I want to spend a moment or two and focus on Shalshelet HaKabbalah, not Kabbalah, Jewish mysticism, but the Hebrew term that means the chain of tradition, which you witnessed this evening. This Shalshelet HaKabbalah, this chain of tradition, is a composite of all the teachings about Judaism and Jewish life that have been passed down from one generation to the next. Whether it's Torah's wisdom, its forefathers and foremothers, the rabbinic legal and rabbinic literary imagination, the Jewish rites and rituals from birth to the grave, the Jewish cyclical calendar from one Rosh Hashanah to the next, the kugel recipes from your mother or mother-in-law's kitchens, Philip Roth's novels, Yehuda Amichai's poetry, Robert Zimmerman's music, I think he's still Jewish, all are examples of the Shalshelet HaKabbalah, the chain of tradition that is your inheritance. Whether you have been born into our tradition, whether you've come to our tradition, or partnered with someone Jewish and along for the ride and are generously giving this gift to your children, each one of you tonight is a sacred link in the Shalshelet HaKabbalah, the chain of tradition that you are now entrusting with Rabbi Epstein to be your rabbi, your teacher, your guide, an excellent designated listener. This death-defying treasure we call Judaism, this precious gift, is yours to receive, to love, to disagree with, to find meaning in, that guarantees to make your life more meaningful and richer, is yours for the taking. And you are blessed to have such a wonderful person to lead your sacred endeavors. To be a little bit repetitive, you are so very lucky to have Rabbi Epstein. I have nothing but trust, confidence, and optimism, which is not one of my natural tendencies, that she will lead this temple to a thriving future, ensuring that the Shalshelet HaKabbalah will not be broken. In a moment, we will enact or reenact the Shalshelet HaKabbalah as we pass our sacred Torah, the ever-giving well from which all our sacred stories and from which our spiritual, intellectual, and creative Jewish life springs. Those moments in the Sinai desert where we accepted the responsibility to, as a people, forge our future, become God's peeps, and adhere to the words of the Holy One. Tonight, gathered on the corner of Newport Avenue and Beach 147th Street, which, by the way, my car knew how to get here. At this corner, at this moment, in this sanctuary, we welcome Rabbi Epstein as she becomes a link in the tradition between Abraham and Sarah and you, the members of West End Temple. And so I would like you all to please rise.
Thank you, Rabbi Sloan. We're going to now open the Ark and take out the Sefer Torah. So I'd like to invite the members of our executive committee who are here in the Kahal. So I think that's Jeff and Lori.
We will now share in a shared ritual of installation, which can be found in the center of your program. Congregation, speak with me. As our Rabbi, will you lead us in worship and create rituals that help give shape in the events of our lives. Will you consecrate and confirm our children, marry us to those we love, and help us walk through loss?
I accept and welcome my ritual role in the life of this congregation.
Will you care for us in times of need and celebrate our joys with us? Will you accept our shortcomings, offer us gentle guidance, and listen to us with love?
I affirm my pastoral role in the life of West End Temple.
Will you teach and learn with us, children, youth, and adults alike?
I pledge my dedication to West End Temple and all of its members.
Will you lead us in our works of justice and compassion, taking the teachings of our faith beyond these walls?
I value and affirm my prophetic role in the life of this congregation.
Will you give ample time to your life apart from the synagogue in order to nourish your spirit, cherish your family and friends, and keep your life balanced and whole?
With your help, I will. Now in turn, I ask these questions of you. As a congregation, will you partner with me to create meaningful worship and communal traditions? Will you participate in the customs and observances of our community?
We affirm our role in the ritual life of our congregation.
Will you care for one another in times of need and celebrate one another's joys? Will you accept one another's shortcomings and listen to each other with love?
We pledge to undertake our role in the pastoral life of West End Temple.
Will you teach and learn with me, remembering that we are all learning all the time?
We affirm our role as teachers and learners in the growth of our congregation.
Will you commit to struggle for justice and compassion, taking seriously the call to tikkun olam?
We accept with responsibilities in the prophetic life of our congregation. Are the members of West End Temple prepared to share the sacred responsibilities of congregational life with Rabbi Epstein? We, the community of West End Temple, hereby welcome you, Rabbi Rebecca Epstein, to serve as our rabbi. We hereby affirm our sacred covenant with you. Speak the truth to us in love. Nourish our spirits. Help us to embody the change we wish to see in the world. Lead us in creating a community where justice and compassion flourish.
With gratitude and reverence, I joyfully accept the responsibility of being your rabbi. Your trust inspires me to bring all that I can to this congregation and to serve you with integrity and commitment and love.
Together, let us embrace the work of this congregation. Let us care for one another, create a community of holiness, and work for a world of wholeness. Amen.
יברכך אדוני וישמרך.
May God bless you and keep you.
יאר אדוני פניו אליך ויחונך.
Rabbi Epstein, may God shine upon you and may you feel the strength of that guiding light to guide you each and every day.
יישא אדוני פניו אליך וישם לך שלום.
May you know that God is smiling upon you now, overjoyed that you have taken up the calling that is yours, smiling upon you now, and granting, we pray, the most precious gift of all to you and to your congregation, the gift of shalom, the gift of peace.
ונאמר אמן. We may all be seated, and we join together on page 344 in honoring this joyous occasion with Shehechianu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Shehechianu v'kimanu v'higiyanu hazman hazeh
It's a time of joy and celebration, but also we want to draw into our hearts those in our lives who are in need of healing, of body, mind, or spirit. We take some time now to look at the names of people in our community who are in need of healing, can be found in your program. And also, if you would like to share the name of someone for whom you are praying, please do so as my eyes meet yours. And from our Zoom community, we are also praying for Harriet Winkler Cabelli, Jesse Ferguson, Linda Ferguson, Julia Tube, Karen Molvian, and all of the Ukrainian people and all those suffering in war and conflict.
Those who sow in tears will reap in joy, will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy, will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy.
We say, Baruch atah Adonai Rofei HaCholim, blessed are you, God, who heals the sick.
Amen.
יש כוכבים שאורם מגיע ארצה רק כאשר הם עצמם עבדו ואינם. There are stars up above so far away we only see their light long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. And as we live our days, these are the ways we remember. We call to mind now those in our community for whom we are in the period of Shloshim, 30 days following their passing. Debbie Badesen, dear friend of Art and Loretta Umlis. Is there anyone else who would like to share the name of a loved one for whom they are in the period of Shiva, 7 days following the passing of a loved one? Or Shloshim, 30 days? Or Shana, 1 year? We call to mind now those in our West End community whose yahrzeits we observe this Shabbat. Ida Barbole, Eva Fudel Barshe, Rose Bernstein, Samuel Comita Jr., Elizabeth Copeland, Rose Diamond, Nina Douglas, Julius Edwards, Benjamin Eisenstadt, Eli Finkelstein, Marion W. Finkelstein, Molly Friedman, Aaron Hecht, Andrew Zane Jacobs, Louis Kessler, Henry Levy, Elliot Mandel, Charles Mardenfield, Richard Stephen Millman, Ethel Nymark, David Posner, George J. Postal, Etta Steiner Rosenberg, Belle M. Sapperstone, Belle H. Seelfen, Ira Shapiro, Sarah Schur, Sadie F. Simon, Edward C. Tepperman, Louis Vineker, Irving Wachs, Kate Weiss, and Edward Wolf. Is anyone else observing a yard site this Shabbat who would like to share the name of their loved one? We rise now as we say the words of Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish, on page 294. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba.
Amen.
Be'alama divarach hirute be'yamlich malchute. B'chayechon u'byomechon u'v'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala u'bizaman karib v'imru. Amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevarach le'alam u'lalmei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yit'ale v'yithalal shmei dekudesha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'amiran be'alama v'imru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu ba'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Osei shalom bimromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ba'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen.
Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, amen.
May be seated. And I'd like to call now upon Heather Beloven, the co-chair of our religious school community, to say a few words. Thank you, Heather.
I have a lot of hard acts to follow here. I am so incredibly honored and proud to be standing here tonight representing the religious school and Alyssa Burke to be part of the installation of Rabbi Epstein. This is a sacred and momentous occasion, not only in the life of the West End Temple community, but in the life of the rabbi and her family. As I was thinking about what I wanted to say, I thought, what is the role of a rabbi? So like everybody else in this day and age, I Googled it. Rabbi, Hebrew, my teacher, my master. In Judaism, a person qualified by academic studies of the Hebrew Bible and the Talmud to act as a spiritual leader and religious teacher of a Jewish community and congregation, a counselor, a healer, and caretaker. Well, Rabbi Epstein has certainly been all of these things and much more in the short time here at West End Temple. I think the entire board and hiring committee knew right away by the rabbi's warmth and enthusiasm that it was an easy choice to carry on the wonderful legacy Rabbi Sloan created here. Almost immediately, she had 5, I thought it was 6, but 5, bar and bar mitzvahs, and they were all beautiful, and the rabbi installed her own personal touch to each and every one of them. The rabbi has inspired the young students in religious school and has integrated the team program to bridge the gap between the elder congregation and for the teens to be a role model for the younger. she jumped right into our Purim tradition and put on the Hamilton show, which was unbelievable. Rabbi Epstein has also effortlessly carried on Rabbi Sloan's connections to the community and other faiths and has been a pillar of strength during the tremendous, difficult world we are living in today. We really are a unique community here in the West End Temple, and the rabbi has learned that quick at her first trustees meeting, where she saw firsthand all of our wonderful personalities. I'm not going to mention them all, but I will mention Jeff's sarcasm. Navigating a trustee meeting is no easy task, and I'm sure Rabbi Sloan warned Rabbi Epstein of her role. Rabbi Epstein is now one of us, and for that we are truly blessed. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Heather. And now, Dr. Sherry Copeland would like to share with us some final words and some announcements.
Once again, I'd like to thank everyone who came tonight, our esteemed rabbis, our Rebecca and Barak's families, our local clergy, our community leaders, our past and present congregants, of which I see many, and good friends. I would also like to thank the search committee who found Rabbi Epstein, which included Alyssa Burke, Sherry Copeland, Doris De Niro, Jill Hunsaker, Pam Letterman, Robin Levy, Richard Lipsman, and Rosemary Schluger. I think we did a good job. The installation committee, Sherry Copeland, Jill Hunsaker, Suzanne Maltz, and Lori Musumeci. The West End Temple Family Band, directed by student cantor Gabriel Lehrman, Matthew Kern, Richard Levy, Robin Levy, Stuart Roush, and Dorothy Wagner. Upcoming events, we have the second night of Passover Seder, next Saturday night. We're having a Oiven comes to West End Temple for the end of Passover on April 24th, where they're bringing ovens to make bread. Shabbat morning Torah study on Saturday mornings, including tomorrow, I think. Weekly seniors discussion group on Wednesdays at 10 o'clock, and our intergenerational program, which has its end-of-year celebration on May 15th. We cordially invite you into the, we call it the gym, to a festive oneg to celebrate the installation of Rabbi Epstein. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Everyone, we have a final song for our teens to come on up and share with us. If any teens are remaining in here, are they? Kelly, you want to come on up? Okay, we'll do it.
Okay.
Yeah, let's just do it. Okay, 328. Come on, Kelly.
מיפיאל, מיפיאל, יבורכו ישראל. מיפיאל, מיפיאל, יבורכו ישראל. אין אדיר כאדוני, ואין ברוך כבן עמרם. אין גדולה כתורה, ואין דרשניה כישראל. מיפיאל, מיפיאל, יבורכו ישראל. מיפיאל, מיפיאל, יבורכו ישראל. אין הדור כאדוני, ואין ותיק כבן עמרם. אין זקן כתורה, ואין חכמיה כישראל. מיפיאל, מיפיאל, יבורכו ישראל. מיפיאל, מיפיאל, יבורכו ישראל. אין פודר אדוני, ואין יחיד כבן עמרם, אין כבירה כתורה, ואין למדניה כישראל. מפיאל, מפיאל, יבורך כל ישראל. מפיאל, מפיאל, יבורך כל ישראל. אין פודק אדוני, ואין צדיק כבן עמרם, אין קדושה כתורה, ואין תומכיה כישראל. רסתן מפיאל, מפיאל, יבורך כישראל. מפיאל, מפיאל, יבורך כל ישראל.
Beautiful. Thank you, Kelly. That was awesome. Aw. Everyone, we're going to continue with Kiddush and Motzi and then dessert. It's going to be so awesome. And I wish everybody a Shabbat Shalom. Thank you so much for coming. And